Hi, my name is Kendal Martin, and this is my communications passion speech. Ready, set, go. My heartbeat never fails to speed up the second my students step foot into my classroom. Another year, another challenge, molding my students into the people that I know that they can be. As the final bell rings and my wide-eyed seniors stare at me, waiting for direction from someone who is just as nervous as they are, I rise up to the challenge of taking on an English 12th grade honors course. I was not expecting to teach it, and little did I realize it would be the greatest lesson I would ever learn. As teachers, it is our job to make sure our students are engaged and excited about class. We have all been at a point in our lives where we sat in class and zoned out. So then, what does it truly mean to be a good teacher? Do we let our students struggle until they find the answer themselves? Do we give them the answers since this generation is so used to instant gratification? And how in the world do we keep them off their phones? I believe as teachers, it is our job to create a classroom that is safe, curriculum-centered, and creative. We all graduate high school believing that we would know how to teach if it were our chance to teach the students, very similar to how we think we can parent our own selves much better than our parents did. Taking college classes in a classroom on education to become a teacher is very eye-opening, as I'm sure all major courses are. However, having people in my education classes that say, "I don't care if my students are being creative, I just want them well-behaved," is a sentence that screams volumes of apathy to me. I believe that teachers are educators first, where we encourage our students to achieve their full potential, and then we take on the roles of parents for those who are absent, counselors to the students who have no one to speak to, and referees when our classroom gets a little too rowdy. So how do we take on all of these roles and still ensure our students are well informed, that they know that embedded in Bug's life is satire, and Romeo was just a hopeless romantic, to teaching them that Gatsby may be a fool for love and Daisy is nothing but a manipulative girl? How important is it for our students to really learn this? After all the answers they could ever hope for are at their fingertips on the internet and on their phones. So why do we still use a standardized test that is so outdated? Because that's just the way life is right now. We're stuck in this weird gap where people younger than my parents have a hard time using technology, and then my students are classroom wizards. And then the question comes up again, how do I keep them paying attention to me? So what would you have changed about your high school career if you had the chance? This is the biggest question teachers forget to ask their students. And they have opinions, trust me. There were so many times when I was in high school and just begged my teacher to do something other than the typical written response or a boring PowerPoint that was put together in less than 5 minutes. Our students have no problem telling us how they feel about our assignments. Just look at how many missing assignments you have when you try to send out a vocabulary packet that's due on a Friday. Or for me, an attempt to have them create their own news article on their favorite Greek, which depressingly ended up with them being more frustrated with the assignment than excited. It's blatantly clear we are raising a generation where creativity is limited and their work is incentive-driven. Rather than receiving titles such as Themistocles, ostracized, I graded titles like Themistocles, a warrior, and how boring is that? Immediately, I acknowledge that my students need help. How can I change the way they're thinking? Is it too easy? Too difficult? Does it need more of a discussion? Maybe more time to work on it? Teachers should give their students a different angle to learn from, rather than their textbook. Have them draw, sing, act, anything to get them out of their seats. Change the classroom setup. Why do we always model our classrooms like theaters, churches, and concerts? The day of sage on the stage is gone. The teachers are not the ones who should be thinking for our students. And it's been said for decades that our students need to be thinking for themselves. How do I help them to think critically and to focus on what is happening at their desks rather than on me? I will not give up the fight to encourage students to become the best version of themselves as possible. The more teachers who create an environment where students can explore and invent and produce, the more society will reap the benefits of hard work. And that's my idea of a successful classroom.